Live from the Sawdust Nation podcast, it's episode 143 with your hosts, Nick from NPG Creations, that's me, of course, Josh from North Country Woodworking, and Nap from Nep's Naughty Works, LLC.
Hi.
Yeah, so we have an abrasive show for you tonight. However,
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, are we doing shops first tonight, or are we going to jump right into our topic?
Some shops. We got one of the shops. It's been a minute.
We're doing shops?
Yeah.
Shops. Everybody. Now, tell me what your shop. What's up, man?
I finally caught up. So for a while, okay. Josh gives the look, right? So for a while there, I had that little, drought of getting jobs. And then I started adding jobs up that I was getting, like, hey, these are, I need this by this time. And procrastination, procrastination's a bitch. Procrastination is not your friend in the shop. Because I can tell you, I looked at my planner and I was writing the jobs down as I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, crap. So last week, starting Wednesday, backing up a little bit, I'm pretty sure I got like bronchitis or something because I felt like straight dog poo. All right. And that was actually it was Tuesday because on podcast day, I was not feeling it. And then the next day I felt like crap. And the day after that, wasn't feeling good. But in that time, what's up?
Did you take a COVID test?
No.
It's irresponsible.
No, it's not. I'm vaccinated. So, what? Anyways, so went through the whole thing. Tylenol and cough medicine seemed to do the trick. But, I slept a lot. Saturday and Sunday, I slept. I didn't do anything in the shop. But between the time we got the podcast all the way up until then, I was knocking jobs out. So I knocked that toolbox piece out. Individually, I said he had a piece of his toolbox cut off from when he was a staff sergeant and framed it, put some wood accents on it, posted it on the old IG. Hopefully people got to see it. I thought it was pretty cool. The amount of people, they were like, holy crap, that's freaking awesome. Dropped a couple business cards off there. Some people picked them up. I may or may not have even shamelessly slid one to the chief and, to another person. Like, hey, instead of going here, you should come to me. And slid my card to him. And that could garnish some business later down the road. But so I got that done. I knocked out like 4 or 5 other jobs between promotion gifts and just other little nitnoid things. And now I'm to a point now where I've got 2 jobs to finish by the end of next week, one of which I'm hoping to ship by Friday. The other one is for my senior who's putting on chief. His wife is getting stuff for his induction / hey, you made chief thing. So they're doing like something with the family and whatnot. So I'm doing table settings, nine glass stemless wine glasses with some chief stripe etchings with like chief induction, something or another on the other side. And then I'm making like little place settings. So I have the notes right here. So she wanted me to try to shape the post that the stripes were sitting on, like bombs and missiles and stuff. I told her, I was like, hey, I don't really have the kind of capability you think I have as far as making like a 3D bomb like stem or a missile stem. So I told her, like if I were to take like a AIM-9, for example, let's take that. Okay. If I were to make it with like the tail kit fins and stuff, I don't have a rotary to do that right now. But I am, I'll talk about that here shortly. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I have an idea.
Well, I don't have I'm not doing a 3D printed thing. It sounds like a great idea. But I don't know how that would work with the wood and the 3D. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that would look.
We can talk later.
Yeah, we'll talk later on that. But for the time being, the plan is to do something similar to kind of like what I did with the spinner, that wood spinner that had the 2 patches on each side with the ball bearing. I'd even thought about entertaining something like that, but with smaller ball bearings. Not sure yet. I like spinners. I think we all do. But anyways, so I got to make 9 of those. Airman, I'll leave the chief. I'm going to engrave, obviously, the stripes on the fronts, but then on the backs, it's going to have the dates of when he made those ranks and what bases he was at. And then each one will be, a different base, different stem. Not sure how we're going to do it yet. I've got a couple different ideas I'm toying with. I think that's going to be like a whole weekend project because I plan on finishing the one project by Friday, which will then free up the weekend for just that. And then I get into April. April is what do I have? What do I have in April? No, there's nothing in April. That's why. So March, and then I got the April. April's free, but I'm going to start May's projects, which is the trophy that I'm finally going to finish. Yeah, I know. I said I've been saying that, but I just talked to Jason on the phone as how the hell I was going to glue the layers together. He gave me a pretty solid idea because it's not like a traditional, like, yeah, just stack and glue it. I got to make sure everything's even all the way around, because if I don't center these boxes, it's going to look stupid. Because it's, one box is 16 inches, one's 14, and then one's 12. So, yes, big boxes, Nick.
Hold it closer to the camera so it looks bigger.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to put that together, get that finished. And then there was one other thing. I think it was a shadow box that's due in June. That's the same one, but I got all the stuff so I can finally start it. A lot of it's like projects that have already been on the list of things to do. But there are some things on the horizon. So I talked about the rotary. Once I finish a couple other jobs, I'm probably going to talk to the guys over at Odyssey CNC, and I'm probably going to look at getting a machine from them, so I can have the capability of doing, the rotary stuff. I mean, because I've definitely found a time where a few people have actually asked me here if I could do stuff like that. So instead of doing lathe type things, and also I can learn things on the lathe with the repeater, but if I can make, let's say, 30 millimeter bullets on a CNC, that would be way better, way easier than actually using a lathe. Not that I don't want to, but production wise, it'd be easier. So there's that. Then I got 2 going-aways that are going to go to Colorado, right out there in Jason's area, John Davis's area. John Davis is a little task saturated, if you will. So his coworkers were referred to me because, I was the next person on the list, I guess. So I'll be going to do things for them. Hopefully, be the second for John if he ever needs me out there. What is Odyssey CNC? So Jason, when we went with Workbench Con, there was these guys from Odyssey CNC that had this thing called the Cyclone. I believe that's what it's called. It's their standalone rotary CNC machine. So instead of having a 4x4 or 4x2 or any of that, it's literally I want to say they said it comes up to 10-inch diameter, maybe I think is what it is, by 24-inch.
Right for what they were doing.
Yeah, 24-inch length cut for a rotary. So it'd be pretty cool. It's pricey, obviously, like any machine, but it's no different than getting a hobbyist machine. Honestly, when I talk to them about pricing, so I'm just like, well, okay, we'll talk, and I might get one of those, especially because the footprint's not super big. I can replace where the current lathe is at now on the table that I don't use for anything but putting stuff on. I could literally put that right there.
So if you get that, I might be interested in your lathe.
Okay. I won't say no, but it'd be a bitch to ship.
Maybe I'll give me an excuse to drive up there.
Ooh, come to Minot. Yes. No, you don't want to come to Minot. Not right now.
Easy.
Yeah, we got 2 inches of snow coming. It actually started snowing once I got in from the base. Was doing some intramural sports with the airmen. So I'll tell you what, I don't get a lot of chances to talk to airmen in the job. So anytime I can do the intramural stuff that's non-contact, I probably don't play football anymore, but I'll play the other stuff that's not contact. I get to hang out, talk with the airmen, show that I'm not just some that they work with. So that's just my opportunity.
So they had the face for the name.
Yeah, right. It was funny. I was talking to the airmen the other day, and they're like, "Sergeant Nat, you look like you're mad all the time." I was like, no, I'm just concentrated. Legitimately, if I'm staring at my computer typing something and I've got a bunch of stuff going on, and I look up at you and it looks like I'm mad, probably not. I probably just got done whipping off an email or whatever the heck I've got going on. Especially this week. This week's been extra interesting. But anyways, off topic.
I usually, I'm like that too when I get done whipping it out.
I'm sure. That's really it on the job front. I mean, the shop's been staying pretty warm for the most part. Word of mouth is happening with the jobs. People are reaching out to me for things, and it's okay. I like the steady pace has been good. Etsy hasn't been getting jack and shit. I've had people like my Etsy and stuff, but that really doesn't mean anything to me unless you're ordering from me. Like those metrics don't mean much unless you're ordering and then liking my stuff.
You heard it here, folks. If you don't Ordered from Nap. Then
I mean, you could say that, but I mean, really, as far as business is concerned, you can I like that my friends are liking it to help get the metrics up, so it maybe pushes my stuff. But when I get random, what is it, XYZ2 asterisk freaking pound sign exclamation liking my post?
That's a guess. That's a Etsy guess. That's not a like someone with an account.
Sure.
I get guest orders all the time. Hey, so are you making your shipping free?
Yes. Nick, believe me, I followed your tips and tricks. I've read tips and tricks. Nothing's working right now.
Yeah, well, you got one order for sure.
Two.
Dose.
And the funny thing is, I know Nick still hasn't opened that mug yet. His big giant.
No, it's sitting on my nightstand in a box.
I really wish, see, this is what I'm talking about. He supported the business, but don't even use the mug. Hurts my feelings.
Well, what am I going to drink out of it?
Beer.
Just keep pushing, man. It'll eventually come to fruition where you start getting sales.
But
it takes time in Etsy.
But what I'm going to do is, Jason made some suggestions for small things. So I think in the April timeframe, I'm just going to make random things like proud parent of an airman or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to
be roughing it.
Think outside the box.
I'm going to be roughing it.
You should, what you should do is make a plaque that has a frame in it, and it says my first letter of reprimand.
Dude, that would actually be pretty funny. Oh, so real quick. So Ben Warren sent me these champagne flutes.
Oh, those are the ones you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, so I saw the box. I was like, oh yeah, I can talk about that. So dude turns wine glass stems, and then I don't know how he glues these on here. I would assume epoxy. But then he epoxies a stemless glass on here. I have to etch stuff on this and then make a keepsake box for two of them, 2 in 1, and then the other 2 are just etched. So I got that too. That one's in May. That's a May order as well. I already kind of have an idea what I'm going to do for that. I think I'm going to try some splines out this time around. Haven't gotten a dabble in those yet. And I've been seeing all these damn spline jigs on Instagram. And I'm like, I need to make one. It's like Instagram is telling me, make a spline jig. It's so
easy to make a spline jig. It's ridiculous.
What's that?
It's so easy to make a spline
jig. Oh, and I know it is. That's the funny thing is, right? It's just it's so easy to make. But, I mean, I know, Josh, you have one, right?
No.
It's
so easy to make that I just haven't made one.
No, I mean, it's just like scrap wood. You make it,
Yeah. So I make that too. Yeah. So those little things here and there. But yeah, that's really I got going to the shop, guys. Just waiting for the weather to hit hard so I can stay home for a day and just work in the shop. Because I slept all weekend. So there's that. Josh, what you got going on, man?
Well, honestly, for me, it feels like it's been almost a lifetime since we were on here last. It
does feel that way.
Busy, man. When it comes down to it is I got some last minute orders, and those last minute orders became last minute for me as well. So long story short, I did a guide on for a going away, a retirement, and they basically gave me artistic freedom with it. So I went with acrylic road because they're like, oh, you don't need to paint it, laser engraved's fine. And I'm like, no, we can do something with this. So there was quite a few pieces, and I was using green, and the green I got was see-through, unfortunately. So I already had basically everything cut and planned out. And then I put the green on black acrylic for a backer, and it turned completely black. Makes sense, right? But of course, I didn't know that until I peeled off everything at the very end. So I had to restart, and that lasted me off. I was out there for quite a while, but I did it right the second time. I used white acrylic for the back. That green came shining through, I think, perfectly. And then the woodworking gods shined down a light upon me that night. And I say that wholeheartedly because I needed the color kayak for the guide on. I want anyone out there right now to just tell me how many people actually have a spray can of kayak, that brownish, tannish, just laying around. We can't hear you, Nick.
Actually, no stuff. I actually do. And the only reason, and I'll tell you why, the only reason why I have that. I bought the 20 color spray cans from Montana Paints.
Yeah,
that is
that
the
makes sense,
only
then.
reason why I have something even close to that.
My point is not many people just go buy this, right?
I never even heard of it, so
I personally did not buy this. Someone was PCSing and they gave me a bunch of spray paint, and I just threw this on the shelf. I'm like, I'll never use this, but whatever. So
Little did you know.
I kid you not. I look on the shelf. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. I'm looking and I'm like, I might have to paint this. I don't know how. I might have to just do it out of wood. And I look and it's there. It's not piled behind anything. It's just sitting on the shelf, staring me in the face. And I'm like, no way. It's probably going to be bad spray paint. Bad spray paint, how it just kind of like cajolds. Yeah. No. Sprayed, fine mist, dried almost instant. I did it again, got nice coverage. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I had to remake the entire logo. That alone made my night. I was able to pump that out, get that out, and they were very happy with it. So, and plus I got to mess with some more acrylic project. That was a little more finer detail with all the little pieces and whatnot, using mirrored and stuff like that. So just kind of refined that craft. It was fun, like puzzles. But yeah, I got that knocked out. What else to do? I fixed up a flag for. Go ahead.
What was the name of that spray paint again? Montana?
The ones that I use? Yeah, Montana.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, so I didn't, come up with that on my own. Another maker that we used to dabble with uses it, and I just kind of kept using it.
Yeah, I use it. So
I haven't touched them yet.
They're good.
I have too much leftover spray paint.
Solid acrylic paints, though. First. Seriously.
I gotta tell you though, did you get the wide spray nozzles for it, dude?
One pass.
So much time. Yeah,
done.
Right across. Yep. 100%.
Josh is like, I hate you guys right now. Sorry, Josh.
When they're PCS and had no spray paint, I might go down that road. But
you could.
Good.
Are you gonna Diddy?
Yeah, it's gonna be full Diddy.
Yeah. Hey, Victor's here. What's up, Victor?
So I'm gonna take a bunch of stuff, but I have paint that I'll never use. I have this teal blue spray paint that I bought from one project because they wanted the whole thing that color, and it literally has sat on my shelf for 3 years. I've been trying to give it away to makers, and it always comes back. So they'll ask hey, can we borrow this color? And I include that in the bag, and they give it back. So I just can't get rid of it. Anyway, moving on. I was helping a couple fix up a flag that family member or someone made for them. Essentially, it was a coin flag, and they just needed better slots for the coins. They just weren't being held appropriately, and so I just was able to fix that up, get it back to them. It was old enough where the pine that was used was yellowed, and the stuff I used wasn't. So it kind of looked a little bit off. But I told them in time it would yellow like the rest of the stuff. It kind of match. I was going to replace most of the pieces, but I didn't have enough wood, and I had to get more lumber, and I charged them minimum amount to do the work just because it was a quick fix. I was able to do it in the afternoon. So, it is what it is when it comes to that. I was actually happy to help them out. They needed a little more extra love than what they called for, but we got her done. More 3D carving. Yeah, I'm definitely dabbing into that. I did flangerneer wings, my old career field, and I wanted to see how those would turn out. And I thought they turned out pretty good. I definitely need a smaller bit. Go ahead.
So it's not a smaller bit that you need.
Step over?
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously,
that was one of the two.
They say step over obviously will increase your time a lot, but Ben Warren from Beach Time Woodworks, you guys know, but for those listening, it's Ben from Beach Time Woodworks. He obviously, he uses the 5.4 degree taper ball nose, and that seems to work pretty well. I know Daniel used a 1.2 degree taper ball nose, which is super fine. But you don't need anything really that fine, unless for what you had in detail, it wasn't fine detail. So if you did a step over, I think Ben does a 7 or 8% step over.
Okay.
You won't even have to sand it. It's literally going to be like a brush and go. That's how
that's kind of what I'm
beautiful
looking for.
It is.
Yeah. So I find it fascinating because I'm not going to try to give Venerables any more credit than I need to, but their program easel and being able to 3D carve now is interesting. I'm still not going to be sticking with it. I'm definitely going to do a crossover, but I just don't see a need for it right this minute, especially because I'm PCSing. I'm not going to dive into something entirely before I leave, forget most of it, and then have to, do the learning curve again. But I definitely will be crossing over my next base, and hopefully maybe a new CNC will come with that. We'll see how that all works. Ben's saying 5.5 or 6.2 step over would be the best. So I'm going to have to give that a try. I have some more projects I like to knock out. I'm just doing things for myself, but I could definitely foresee utilizing 3D carves in the future on projects. I just love the capability it comes with, and just wish you could do with it. It's impressive. I really wish I would have started this process a little while ago, versus doing it now. But
I'm glad you finally took the damn step. We'd only been talking about it for like a year.
I know, man.
I was
it's
like,
those things where
Josh, just do it.
I haven't had a need for it.
I know Ben's been pulling his hair out. He's like, I just wanted to talk to me about it. I'm ready. Put me in, coach. And I'm like, I know, Ben, but he's got so much stuff going on. I don't know when he's going to do it. And then he did it. And then he's like, I love it.
I see. I've been saying it takes a long time, but you know what? It was just one of those things where, like, if I didn't have a need for it, it was just another thing I had to learn. And I have so many different programs I'm diving into currently, just trying to learn design and try to get the SVG file stuff up and running, which is coming. It's just taking a little more time because I'm kind of app surfing right now and figuring out what the best one is for which application. That leads me into my next project. I'm doing a Marine Corps plaque, and it's going to have like a skull and their hat and like a bunch of patches around them. The skull and the hat are going to be acrylic, and then it's going to be basically wooden patches around it on a wooden background. I thought about doing 3D carve for it, but we're going to wait until I produce anything for anyone for as a plaque until I learn a little bit more about it. And plus the acrylic, I think, is going to look pretty cool with the design. So I was designing that and utilizing some more different design features. So we all know about light burn, and there's a trace option in there, but sometimes I don't capture everything quite right. It will take lettering, it will round off like the T's and stuff like that. And like, I'm at the point now where I can definitely tell when someone takes something in the light burn and traces it and utilizes it. And I want something a little better than that. I want quality. So I'm taking and definitely I'm using vector files and actually tracing stuff with that. I'm going in and utilizing a little bit of Lightburn and some other programs to get a more refined product. That way I can produce a higher quality. It takes a little bit more time because I am learning a lot more time. I've really decreased my design process over the years, but it's now back up there, and it's okay because it's a learning curve I'm dealing with. I know that. The customer doesn't see it because I do it behind the scenes, obviously. But it definitely takes me a second or two to get the design out just because I'm really trying to, when I present that design and get approval, I want them blown away by the design. The next step after that is actually producing it and giving it to them and having the project blown away. So I got that coming up. I have a 10 coin challenge coin rack. A small coin rack coming up, but it's going to have the SARM occupational badge, like above it's going to be attached. So it's like a plaque coin rack type deal. Going to do some stuff with that. Let's see. I have a flag I'm waiting on payment for, some plaques, some paddles, actually. I should be finishing up the retirement chest, sometime in April. I'll be getting the stuff here at the end of the month. And what else? I've been doing quite a few invoices, so it's hard to keep up with all of them. But I did Shape of New Jersey stained. Yeah, it's been nice. Like, for some reason, I got quite a few orders that popped up out of nowhere. I mean, they're not huge; they're smaller jobs, which is kind of nice. You can kind of finish them faster. But I'm not complaining. It's a nice pace right now. I can get done fairly quick, and then wait till the next one pops up.
It kind of sucks. You're starting to get super busy though, like towards your end.
It's because it's becoming, PCS season is coming. Like people are leaving and stuff like that, and I know why it is. And I've already hit up my customer base and basically said, "Hey, I'll be stopping orders in like mid-May. Like after mid-May, I'm not producing anything." So I have a couple orders I'll be making and getting out. That basically they don't have a due date. They're like, "Hey, if you get it done before you leave." And then I'll get the invoice to them and whatnot. Like I'm doing a 4 Loco can and some other logos on it. And making that all of acrylic with a walnut or cherry. I'm not really, depends on the can. I have the coloration of the can, but that's going to be acrylic job. We've been talking about that for a while, so I'm pretty excited about that too, especially with all the stuff I'm learning. And, makerstock.com is definitely where I've been going to get my acrylic and different stuff. And I've been taking advice from Nick, as I get the jobs, ordering the acrylic I need, it comes, they're all kitted together. I know the acrylic goes to that job. So that's pretty solid advice. And then I did a reel where Kumo definitely hit me up and asked me some questions, and I had to refer to Nick again based on some of his acrylic work and stuff I've learned off of him. So thanks, Nick, for continuing, helping us guide through the acrylic realm. And then that rides me at NAP specialty. So I don't know what the hell's going on in my rotary. I wish I did. But I went to go and do a Yeti Cup yesterday, and I did a practice what looked to be apparently good. And I took the tape off and went to go ahead and engrave it, and it looks like a damn egg. The patch did. So I got to head up and get with NAP and try to get that worked out. Because honestly, I don't know what happened. None of the settings or anything I changed. It just seems like, obviously, it's probably user error. We know this. I just don't know what I did wrong.
I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could.
Did you check the diameter of your cup?
I did. Twice.
We'll talk.
Yeah. So clearly I need to do a little more learning on that, and that's okay. I just got to get that worked out and produce some stuff. But, all in all, shop, not winding down, but keeping steady. I am trying to get rid of different pieces of scrap here and there, various ways, giving it to people, utilizing it, or, sorry, Jason, but the burn barrel. I do have quite a few cutting boards out there that need to be finished, that I've glued together, that just need to be, sanded, and then stuff like that, which we'll get into on our next little topic. But yeah, I'm busy between work and everything else. I'm out there and I'm jobbing, and it's nice. It's a nice pace right now, so I can't complain. But that's my
Jason,
shop time up.
He goes, no.
Oh, Jason, give me your address. I'll send you all my scraps I'm burning, and then after a box or two, you might understand, man. How to use my rotary. I know how to use it. I just obviously don't know what I did wrong in this particular project. I've produced stuff in the past.
So sometimes
it goes to figure
to go down this realm real quick. Sometimes depending on the shape of the patch, sometimes you have to skew the image just a little bit to make it fit the right way. But also it depends on the type of tumbler. So if you have a tumbler that has, like, let's say a 30-ounce tumbler, okay, and it's got like that smaller end here and then has the wider end here. If you don't put the average distance or average diameter between the two, and you engrave, let's say, up here, but you have like the widest distance up here, your steps aren't going to match the size of your diameter of cup. And if it's not level, and if you don't have a level space.
Well, I did level it. I level it every time.
Okay.
And this particular one has a nice taper. It doesn't have the,
you have to do an average. So for a taper, unless that thing is, unless it's a perfect cylinder, or if it's like close to a perfect, like we'll call it a bubble, like for some stemless wine glasses, if you don't do the average or the very middle width of your cup, you will get a skewed image. Because the rotations per
did
minute.
close to the middle, but I started closer to the lip, so maybe that did it.
Yes, because the rotations per minute based on your diameter over here, the steps are not going to step properly for the center of your cup.
See, this is why I bring it up here, because like it was late at night. I started the job later at night than I wanted to, and like I swear I did the tape method. I told the wife, I'm like, I just don't feel good about this. And I had her look, and she goes, yeah, it looks fine. And I pushed start, and I'm like, I can't watch this. And I walked inside, and I walked out, and I saw the egg. And I'm like, God, I just shut down the laser. It's still literally in the configuration. I was just done. I had 3 things to do on that, and I was done.
This was you right here when you walked out. You were like...
Pretty much. They were flying. I gave them out that night.
Yes.
But, yeah, man, I mean, for the most part, it's a learning curve like anything else, and I'm embracing all those right now. I'm in a place where I am going to learn a new job, but I am trying to learn, and since it ain't at fast pace as it used to be in the shop, go ahead and embrace all the learning curves now. Design-wise, rotary, whatever. I have time, quote unquote. It's just more... I'm making time in producing stuff based on learning new techniques. So that wraps my shop talk up. I talked a little bit more than I wanted to.
No, you're fine.
Let's go ahead and throw it up at Nick and see what he has.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, Schnick. What do you got going on?
Well, I met Joey Steelblade last week on Thursday. I met him Thursday at the Rockler.
Dude, you had all sorts of dates this week. Okay, it was jelly.
Joey is just like you would expect, except his hands are like catcher's mitts. They're so damn big. I shook his hand. I was like, "Holy cow! Look at that paw." Anyway, so I saw him. I was like, they shook his hand, and I was like, "Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug." And then I saw Matt Voltner on Saturday. We had dinner at the Saltgrass here in San Antonio, so it was good. Matt took me out for my birthday, but I think he's still here. Or no, he probably left today or tomorrow.
He was running around per his IG thing.
That dude is always hustling. He is on the go, man. He's got a lot of stuff, a lot of irons in the fire. But other than that, I did take a little bit of time off from the shop so I could, enjoy myself for my day of birth. Had a good day. Other than that, had just regular plaques and all that stuff. I'm designing a shadow box right now that I've never done before. I have seen pictures of it, so I'm trying to reverse engineer it, and that will be out by the 25th.
What you making?
Because it's that flag one, the Buccaneers flag style shadow box. Ooh. And then Jesse Four is retiring from the Air Force, so I have his to do before the 1st, and I'll have that done. But his is going to be I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm doing for it, because if he listens to the episode, then it kind of foils the whole surprise. But there will be pieces.
I was going to say there better be a phallic object somewhere in this thing.
You should do a 3D carve. Throw it on there.
Speaking of 3D carves and things, I have
what?
Nothing. What?
I told you, Naps Nutty Works LLC after dark. It's gonna happen.
Nah, man, it's awesome.
I just completed a flag last night for an NCOA, an Army NCOA, and that's in the mail.
I saw that. That was to what you call it? Oh my lord, Fort what?
Fort Dix.
Yeah.
And then, so I made something for those folks 2 years ago, and I had completely forgot about. And I mean, no offense to them, but I completely forgot about them because it was like, radio silence ever since. And I guess they follow me on Instagram, so they've been like seeing the acrylic work, and they're like, "We want that." And I was like, "Okay, let's see what I can do." A little bit of minimal work on Lightburn to get that file ready to rock and roll. Actually, zero work on Lightburn. I uploaded it and import. Don't you love it when you just import things and they're perfect, or at least as perfect as they're going to get?
Yes.
But so to get that black behind the glass, behind the that black behind the mirrored acrylic look, I don't know if you guys are aware, but you flip the acrylic over and you etch the back in reverse.
That's what I do with blacks now.
And then you just spray it or blow it out with your air hose. And I sprayed it black and just let it set overnight. And it came out looking really nice. So, I've dabbled with that before on some of my plaques, but that was probably the easiest one to do. I got my settings down just right on the laser. So I'm working on another flag that needs to go out by the 24th. I have all this stuff's coming to a head all at once. I have all these orders due all at once. Etsy's coming up. I've got a bunch of Etsy orders in consecutive days that have to go out, so I'll have all those done here shortly. I actually made an Etsy order. I wasn't paying attention to the actual order. I just saw what the picture was, so I made it. But it was the wrong size. It was supposed to be like 3 times as big, so it's hanging on my wall downstairs, waiting for somebody else to order it. And other than that, though, my dust collector is now on a ledge in my garage right next to my water heater. So I have way more room around the CNC machine and the joiner. So it's kind of nice to be able to, you get some leg room to stretch out, you don't have to worry about squeezing into places.
So much room for activities.
So much room for activities.
You guys have more room to know what to do with. I don't want to hear it.
I am so ready to get this carve out of my shop. I'm waiting on Onefinity to ship my machine, which is still going to be a while, but that X-Carve, man, I tell you what, I'm so frustrated with just how I've tried to push it to the limits on some of this stuff, and that bit starts skipping, and you start seeing flex in the gantry and all that stuff. So it's a great starter machine. I'll give them that. It's a great for somebody who's never done it before and they're learning, but it's time. I've already upgraded, but I haven't turned the Avid on yet. But I'm also replacing the smaller machine with another small machine.
I was wondering about that. So
stop asking. I'll tell you when it's done.
I can't stop asking though, man. You bought a brand new Onefinity machine coming up, which is hobbyist machine, right? Because Avid's more of like a production, huge machine.
Yeah, but so I saw what Onefinity could do and the time it could do it, and how fast it was running and how rigid it was. And besides, we're doing stuff for Daniel now, and I think that it only makes sense if I have the Onefinity and learn how to use the machine that we're going to be presenting, to customers, and hey, this is why this does this. This is how you operate it, and this is all the cool stuff. Because I'm gonna get all the stuff that all the upgrades from Daniel. I'm gonna buy all the upgrades. I bought the enclosure for the VFD already.
It's pretty dope.
I haven't put that together. That'll be what's that?
It's pretty awesome. It has the IoT hookup vacuum. When I push start and my spindle says, "Hey, I'm starting," and by the way, the vacuum's turning on at the same time, and turns off when I'm done. Yeah, it's money.
Yeah,
love it,
dude. I'm stoked to get that put together.
One big
I just
reason
received
switch
it.
programs so I can set that up and actually utilize those features.
But that's really all I got going on in the shop. Just busy. We're
Jason wants to know what you're doing with your Avid, and he wants it.
Well, I'm about ready to start working on it again. As soon as I clear these last few orders, I'm going to get it running. If not with the ATC, I'm going to at least get it running to where it's operational. I'm going to need help with the ATC because I don't fully understand how to get that integrated in there. And I know there's some other folks in the area who do have it, so they're going to be. I'm going to enlist their help. But other than that, that's it. I know I'm kind of whining on about it, or what do you call it? Droning on. What do you say? I'm rambling now.
So I do want to say something about the Onefinity stuff. So we were at Workbench Con, so I made a mention to somebody about, I was joking, obviously, because, why would a company tell me specifically when they're going to release a new thing, right? So I bought my Journeyman a few months before they released the Elite Series, and I was like, man, why do they have to wait that long to release it, blah, 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 right? And, they hit me with a comment. I was like, well, okay, cool, whatever. I kind of brushed it off. But one thing that Winfinity is awesome with is they do these upgrade kits. So when they made the Woodworker and then they ended up making the Journeyman and all these things, they had upgrades to make things similar to like the upgraded machine. Well, that Mazzo upgrade, apparently, according to some forums from Winfinity, is going to come out in the late portion of the second quarter of this year. So, obviously late, so probably like last week or so maybe of the quarter. But they said once they get the flagship machines out, or the first run of the Mazzo machines out, elite machines, they're going to start seeing if they can get that upgrade on its way out, which I'll be having my eye out for that because – I'm sorry, but that Mazda screen is freaking awesome. I want it. I need it. But yeah, anyways. But in the chat, there was a couple of questions real quick before we dive into our actual topic for the day. So Josh's significant other, better half, and yes, better half for sure, asks, do you lend people your tools? Like other makers your tools?
Oh, geez. Where did you rate that?
She left that a little earlier on. My answer is depends.
I'm going to go ahead and speak for all of us. I think it depends on the person. I'm not going to just off the street let you borrow a tool.
Like, yeah, homie, I just met you. You want to borrow my my track saw real quick? I don't have one. I'm just saying that's the only thing I think of off the top of my head. But
so
go ahead. Go ahead.
On the same lines, what about just use your tools in your shop?
That's fine because I'm there.
Yeah.
Depends again.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I let John Davis. So John Davis hadn't touched woodworking tools in forever, and I mean, I was there very close supervision, showing him how to use things. But he was using my tools within the first week of being there. But then again, he's military too, though. So there's that. Well,
so I had my neighbor. His brother-in-law was a quote unquote woodworker, which I'm not hating on anybody's skill level, but they're like, hey, can we trim some, what do you call? They're like flooring, like wood flooring. And I was like, yeah, sure. And they were trying to rip it. And I was like, why don't you just use a table saw? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Come on over. I was like, so this dude I figured had some sort of like, he has built stuff for them that I have seen. And I was like, okay, that's good enough. I'm sure he knows his way around a table saw because it's typically like one of the first things people buy when they put a shop together, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I was, even with the saw stop, I was afraid when he started operating. I was like, whoa, hey, let me just do it for you real quick. You just want how many cuts on this? Like, I was like, man, I'm not trying to hate. I just feel like I could probably get it done faster and safer. And that and blades and blade breaks are kind of expensive. So if you end up nipping yourself with the blade, then I'm out $120, $130 instead of
they would be out $150.
Yeah, it's expensive, man. It's one of them things where you just.
So, I think you hit it on the head. Both you guys did. It depends on the person. Depends on the tool, right? So, like, if I have a neighbor that wants to borrow a wrench, okay, sure. But when you start talking about bladed items or bladed, and I don't know their skill level or if they've ever even utilized these tools, then probably not. Probably going to do it for them, or maybe teach them how to do it, depending on what exactly they're trying to do. But like, I had a guy PCS actually today, and he needed my compressor to fill up his trailer tires and his truck tires and stuff like that. I let him go and borrow that for the night to do that. But then again, I knew how he treated my tools in the shop with me there. I saw how he treated his tools. I was comfortable with that. Not everyone's going to be able to borrow tools. I've had neighbors in the past borrow tools, and it was simple. Stand for a light, and I'm like, hey, hang on to it. And instead of hanging on to it, they left it on my front porch and didn't tell me. So I got to find that in the morning. I mean, it depends on the person. You just
I mean, like hand tools is a little different. Like I'm not talking about like chisels and stuff either. I'm talking like, hey, you need a
you let me borrow your domino
13th 16th socket, then let me hook you up, but
10 millimeter. Never gonna borrow one.
Never gonna give that up.
I guess I'd never find it.
Yeah, but I'll let Nap. I mean, like Nap. For you guys, you guys know what you're doing. You're not gonna do anything stupid. You're not gonna leave it out in the rain. You're not gonna treat it like it's just enough. Like some people treat tools like they're disposable, or they don't. They're not. They don't cost money.
I'm sorry, but once we start messing into the realm of the tools and stuff that we have gone over the years, you have to treat them nice. You don't buy a $600 sander and decide to throw it across the room.
Yeah.
If I accidentally drop that, I still go.
Yeah, I cringe.
Shoot, my Merca is almost 2 years old now. You know, she's got some use on her. And yeah, she even though she's old looking, she's hit the ground and I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, you feel it.
Look, I actually apologize to my sander. Like that's probably not right.
Have you? What else have you dropped? What else have you dropped and been like, uh-oh?
Actually, there's one thing I have dropped that's almost irreplaceable when you do drop it: a woodpecker square.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's all aluminum. It'll ding out of square.
Yeah. So it also depends though too, right? So if it's like, let's say it's the top corner, right, and it's just like it dings it. Okay, cool. As long as the actual 90-degree portion is good to go, you're fine. But as soon as you ding that 90-degree portion, it's like, yeah, it might be square, kind of, but not true square like it was when it was machined.
Kind of, maybe.
Yeah, like.
Did you see that ad they put out with? They have like their aluminum square butted up against their steel and aluminum. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
I remember
it was like two squares, two squares. Like, you know how it's an L shape, right? But they were butted up against each other. But in the ad, or at least in the picture, there was daylight in between them. So they're both dead. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's terrible. Like,
that's
you
not
guys
a good
are
ad.
trying to, yeah. Like, your marketing dude needs to go back to school.
I'm not gonna lie.
I just
go ahead.
I was just kind of like taken back. I'm like, why would you release that picture as Photoshop?
Because I thought no one would notice it, probably.
Oh, it's all machine grade. Like, they machine everything, so it should be a complete 90.
I've really stopped looking at woodpecker tools for the most part.
They're expensive.
They're just overpriced.
They're expensive
They're
and for stuff when you can get stuff similar.
But exactly. Like I'm at the point now where like every tool that I need, I have for the most part. I can pretty much build all the stuff I need, what I have. Eventually, there's a couple tools here and there I would like to get, but I don't need them right now. And as far as layout tools, man, like I went heavy and hard on those early on. So I have a whole drawer full of layout tools. So I'm not hurting when it comes to that.
Jason,
What's that
if it's the same source you're talking about with Walnut, you and I will be talking. I might have to drive down to freaking Colorado to get it, but I'm going to. Actually, it's not even that far. We've talked about this. But see, sander, woodpecker squares, we talked on those.
Well, we got 10 minutes, so do we want to dive into a topic, or do we?
No, because if we dive into this topic, like,
yes, it's gonna be like hour and a half.
Yeah, and honestly, it's fine because this is a good topic. Because I think I did let someone borrow a tool once that they actually wrecked.
What? Really? Which one?
It was. It's a simple one, right? It was my drill.
And they wrecked it?
They wrecked the chuck.
Which brand?
It was a DeWalt.
Really?
So I had that happen before.
So freaking dude was using it, I guess, and he was using it with like lumber and 2x4s, like for framing and stuff.
Yeah.
My man was digging it, and it was just rubbing that freaking chuck, and it destroyed it.
I would ask for a new one, man. Like,
no, he just never got to use my tools again. So,
if you like, it's one thing to damage a tool by like a freak accident, depending on the tool. But like, if you damage something I lend you, like, I expect some kind of replacement or something for it, depending on what it is. Depends on the person too, obviously. I'm not gonna charge my son a fee if you break something, but
I absolutely would. Your allowance is docked for 16 weeks.
Well, the kids don't get allowance, so he's kind of screwed.
Hey,
You're
so
a debt and you're sixth.
I had a brand new, back when 18-volt DeWalt was the heat. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a roommate who used my drill, and it was a brand new drill too. He used it. I was deployed. He used it. He dropped it on the chuck, like it landed, like chuck down, and cracked it completely off, broke it, snapped it off, and then just put it back in my drawer of my toolbox. So I get home, and I'm like, what the flip? Like, I just bought this right before I left, and the chuck was laying right next to it. I'm like, dude, yeah, that's messed up. You probably should replace that.
Jason goes, if
I
you
can't
loan
believe
tools
you would
out,
just
you
put
say
it back and not tell
you
you.
break it and you replace it. Yeah, probably should have been the case.
I didn't even loan it to him. I was gone. I was in Afghanistan, and he used it, and I didn't know about it. So I tacked that bill onto his rent.
Yeah, that's uncalled for and not necessary at all. But so you said that you were going back to the CNCs that you're going to have the Avid, you're going to have the Journeyman. So you're going to deck out your Journeyman with PWN CNC goodies. Is that going to include his spindle, the 2.0 water cooled, or are you going to get air?
No. I'm doing the 1.5 kilowatt air cooled, the one that was at the at Workbench Con. And then I already have it, so So I'm not going to like.
Sense. Okay. I didn't know if you were going to change up your spindles or not.
No, I see how, I know the difference, and I know how they work differently, so I know enough about them. But it would be nice to have the water cooled one. You know how quiet that thing is. Holy smoke! But I would forget if I left it on.
Yeah,
you go and touch the chuck and you rip your fingers off.
Well, you pay attention to that, and especially with his VFD enclosure and the button and being able to pause it like that. I mean, like, he has a really unique features that I'm not utilizing right now. I can't wait to start diving into that, but the current program I'm using doesn't really call for that. So
I'd say the one thing that Elite has that Daniel has on that is that pause start option. As well as
I use it all the time.
Yeah, as well as like the one thing Infinity Journeymans don't currently have, and that's being able to increase my feed and my rate at the same time while it's running. Night, buddy.
Mommy.
I'm Daddy. What the hell? Get out of here.
Silly goose.
He's just laughing the whole way out of the damn room. Yeah, that's an option I wish that the Journeyman had currently. I hate having to, like, if I forget something or if something doesn't seem right, I hate that I gotta completely stop it and then restart the damn thing. There is no like a pause and restart type option. So I'm glad that they figured that out with this Elite series.
I'm extremely grateful for having Daniel from PWN CNC sponsor the podcast and us, and allow us to dive into some of the stuff he's made and is put out there. And if you haven't checked him out, you guys, if you have a CNC, check his website out. It's definitely worth looking at.
Oh, and shameless plug too, because I know we haven't talked much about him since his Kickstarter. But Cody, from it's Cadence MFG Design. But if you just Google the Jenny bits, you'll find him. He's got his Kickstarter going. He's got 20 some days left. He's doing really well. He's got goals up right now past what he'd already made. So like 12,500 was his, or 12,500 was original goal. I know he's approaching 50K. But as he gets closer to these other goals that he set, so we set like milestones, he gives percentages off, higher percentages off the bits that he releases as they go. There's a little more details on his actual Kickstarter, but that's going on right now. But he just got done learning how to use his machine in Michigan, actually, and he's already manufactured his first Jenny bit. That was his first test run. Was designed.
Oh, that was the one he showed?
Yeah, that's the Jenny bit.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that was his first one. I didn't catch that.
So yeah, he made his first Jenny bit on his machine while he was learning how to mill with his 6-axis machine, which I think is pretty awesome. So pretty soon you'll see Cody manufacturing his own bits. and hopefully we can get them to align under one banner. If it's just, Jenny Bits, Cadence MFG, we'll figure it out. We'll help them out. But if you get a chance, go ahead and find them on Instagram at cadence_MFG. Or if you go to Facebook and you just find Cody's CNC engraving, I think is what it's called, you can find his Kickstarter, or it'll be on our link tree. Just click on, give him a little bit of support.
So throughout the episode, we talked about OMTech, which we're affiliated of. We talked about MakerStock, which we're affiliated of. We talked about PWN CNC, which sponsors this podcast as we speak. And the one we did not hit on was Totalboat. In the past, made a sign for the shop. And I didn't tell anyone this, but I didn't glue any pieces in. I essentially cut out the spots for the pieces on the CNC, and I used the laser to cut the actual pieces, and I used their Halcyon gloss. And I just, out of curiosity, I went ahead and I threw it on top, and it applied it. It's been outside through storms, not negative degree, hasn't hit the here, but below 30s, high 60s, rain, snow, sleet, and the wind, and it still looks brand new. None of the pieces have fell off. I do not recommend you doing it that way. It was a test, but it just goes to show you the strength and reliability of Halcyon and some of their products. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for, sponsors and affiliates. If you guys want to wrap the podcast up with your final words, starting off with Nap, what you got, man?
Yeah, so real quick, the podcast has been going through quite a bit as far as like changes between like what content we've been talking about, how much people have been listening to us and whatnot. And I do got to make note, I just want to get the final number here as of today. So last year when we did the new year from 2021 going into 2022, our goal was to reach a certain amount of downloads. I believe it was something like 15K or something crazy, something easy or something like that. We're now...
Something easy.
What's that?
Something easy. It was just, yeah.
I would say, well, at the time, right, we thought it was something simple to meet, which it was. We did it fairly quickly. Well, we ended up reaching 50,500K downloads not so long ago. And that's because of all you out there listening, and we do appreciate it. The more you listen to us, the better. One, we're distributed out there when you search us on the Googles and all the things, but also, just helps us let us know that we're giving you the content you deserve. But on that, if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, any of those things, go ahead and give us 5 stars. Let us know how we're doing. Give us some topic ideas. Give us some questions. Join us on the Patreon, which our link is in the link tree if you want to become one. You can sit here and join us live while we speak and mess up and say some of the dirty stuff you don't hear on the clean side of the house. And if you don't give us 5 stars, still let us know what we're doing wrong. If we're not giving you content you like, we can't give you the stuff that you want if you don't tell us. But on that, Josh, how do they get a hold of us if they want to give us some feedback or anything like that?
I think they know how to get a hold of us. We've been saying the same thing over and over on the podcast since, dawn of time. So hit us up on Instagram or email. It's all on the page. So
yeah,
let's go ahead and dive into our final words.
Yeah, I know. I kind of was like going final words and all those things. But yeah, so final words. Keep helping each other out, folks, because I'll tell you what, over the past month or two, between having conversations with makers that I never thought I'd have conversations with, Workbench Con, random folks through Instagram. Jason, you were one of those randos. You're, one of my firsts. But I got to meet and talk to Jason, and we've had some pretty good conversations between making, life stuff, and just other things in general. I'm sure he said something crazy in the chat because that's just Jason. He's probably driving right now, honestly, and I'm just making his day right now talking about him. He loves it when I talk about him. Where is he? I don't know where he went.
I'll do it for you. He goes, burning walnut is a sin.
Oh yeah, burning walnut is a sin. But then also talking about Buddy Ron and all these other folks. It's just cool to get to make lifelong friends. I've been talking to some people for the past almost 5-6 years now, and it's been pretty awesome. So appreciate you all, and let's just keep that going because that's just what makes the community that much better. So Nick, what you got, man? And he's muted. And like always,
take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, folks, the only difference between a joke and 3 is your mom can't take a joke.
Oh.
Go!
Well, thank you for
Burn.
joining us for the 143rd episode. Thank you for tuning in, listening to us. Got any questions or anything? Know how to hit us up. With that, go make some sawdust.
Go make it the sawdust.
Oh, you make a
Very
sawdust,
nice.
yes.
Very nice.
It's very nice. You make a
And
walnut
burning walnut
sawdust.
is a sin.
Yo, hey,
I need your address.
hey, that right there, burning walnuts is sin. That's the name of the episode,
Sure.
or something. I don't know. Sounds good. Or we could say, playing with my
Burr,
tool,
baby, burr.
or you played
Oh,
with my
man.
tool. I don't know.